Well, good morning, church family, and welcome to the start of our Holy Week videos. And yesterday we were able to gather, we were able to look at Palm Sunday and the celebration of Jesus' triumphal entry, but also the warning that comes along with that. And throughout this week, I want to walk through with you Holy Week. What's happening as Jesus moves closer to the cross, which we'll see Friday night at 6 p.m. at our Good Friday service. And so Monday starts out with what we call Holy Monday, and it's another warning from Jesus. And Mark does such a great job in his gospel of giving us the triumphal entry. And then as Jesus comes into Jerusalem, we pick up with him in Mark chapter 11, where he's entering it says on the following day they came from Bethany. It says he was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to it to see if he could find anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. And he said to it, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard it. I love this passage, and really this is the cursing of the fig tree. In Matthew's gospel, we're told that as Jesus curses this fig tree, it immediately withers and never bears fruit again. And Jesus has given us an example here of a fig tree that oftentimes we just kind of read and it's by itself. And even in many of our modern Bibles, it's set apart in its own section. But what I want you to see is what comes next as well. This isn't the end of Holy Monday with the fig tree, but look what happens. It says in verse 15, they came to Jerusalem, and he entered the temple, began to drive out those who sold and those who bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. And he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. And look at verse 17 with me. And he was teaching them and saying to them, "Is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations? But you have made it into a den of robbers." Jesus really wants us to see the temple in light of this fig tree. As Jesus was walking up to that fig tree, he was hungry. He sees leaves. It looks promising, yet there's no fruit. Sure, it's not the season of figs, but from the outward appearances, he's approaching, everything looks good. And the same could have been said for that temple. From outward appearance, everything looked good. It was full, it was busy, there were people coming and going, and yet when he arrives, this was not a house of prayer for all the nations. He actually says, you've turned this into a den of thieves. You've taken what was holy and you've changed it. And so Jesus really wants us to see the temple in light of that fig tree. It's a warning for us. Jesus doesn't want our empty worship. He doesn't want us showing up so it looks right. He wants us to truly have a relationship with him. On this Holy Monday, we remember that Jesus is walking towards the cross to bear the weight of the curse of sin that we so deserve. I think Paul does a really great job in Galatians chapter 3. Verse 13, laying it out for us. And we think about this cursed fig tree that would never bear fruit again. It withers and dies. And Paul tells us about the curse that we deserve. In Galatians chapter 3, verse 13, Paul says, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it's written, cursed is everyone who is hanged on a tree. Jesus cursed that fig tree and immediately died. The disciples were astonished. Matthew's gospel writes that out for us. And again, Jesus is foreshadowing what's to come. He's playing this in line with the temple to show us that what's happened in the temple isn't what God's plan was for his temple. But he's also showing us what would come to those who are cursed, who deserve to wither and die. And yet he was going to bear the weight of that curse. Cursed is anyone who hangs on a tree. That is the one who goes to the cross. The good news gospel message here is that we deserve that curse. And here on Holy Monday, Jesus is walking right into it, going to the cross to bear the weight of sin, the wages of sin, for you and for me.